This rant was very inevitable. This has been a long time coming, but yesterday really fucked me up, and so I had to do this one for sure. So if you're on TikTok, you're probably aware of all these like little observation days. And the intent behind them is oh so nice. And basically, if you don't know what they are, they're basically days set aside to only give engagement and attention to certain creators that are part of certain groups that are usually marginalized and suppressed, usually by the app itself, TikTok. And so, like, there was a blackout day for Black creators. There's an Indigenous day for Indigenous creators. And then yesterday was a blackout for disabled creators. Like I said, the apparent surface level intent of these little movements are so fucking nice. But what really happened yesterday is that a lot of us disabled people woke up and were terrified to post or do anything on TikTok yesterday because a lot of disabilities are fucking invisible. And what these days become is a day for a whole bunch of people to be TikTok police and to go around to people's comment sections and random people's videos and be like, you're not XYZ, so you shouldn't be posting today. If you're not XYZ, you shouldn't be posting today. If you're not Black, you shouldn't be posting today. If you're not Indigenous, you shouldn't be posting today. If you're not disabled, you shouldn't be posting today. This happened to me in Indigenous Peoples Day as well. And I had to be like, yes, this is my tribe, blah, 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 blah. But yesterday was especially terrible, obviously because it's Disability Day. Those of you who follow me closely know that I have PTSD and a score of other things, but the main thing is PTSD, and yes, that is a disability. So I woke up terrified that somebody was definitely going to jump into the comments and do that thing, or they're like, if you're not disabled, you shouldn't be posting. You're not disabled, you shouldn't be posting. And sure enough, it fucking happened. The comment was almost verbatim. This is nice, but it's Disability Day. If you are not disabled, you shouldn't be posting. Basically insinuating that I don't look disabled. And what it created is a day where a whole bunch of people with invisible disabilities that we are fighting every day that make it very, very hard for us to lead normal lives that we don't want to acknowledge all of the time forced us to have to come out to random fucking strangers that decided to designate themselves as TikTok police and say, yes, this is my disability. I'm clear to fucking post today. I'm allowed to post today. To validate ourselves to these people. Like, just because I don't look like what you think a disabled person would look like. And so I answer this person because as a creator, as a big creator, some people will consider me a big creator. I don't think I'm that big. I consider myself a mid-level creator, but a lot of people see my shit, so a lot of people consider me a big creator. As a big creator, biggish creator, I don't have the luxury of being able to just shake off those comments because everybody's getting canceled these days for absolutely fucking everything, and you cannot take that risk. So I woke up knowing that if I posted content on this day, that I would definitely have to answer to some random fucking stranger on the internet trying to come at me for posting on a day where I'm not supposed to post. And I would have to come out and say, yes, I'm disabled. And I answer this person like, yes, I have PTSD. And I got snarky with it. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, I'm a PTSD veteran. Would you like to see a list of my medications? What exactly do you want? Have I pleased the disability police? And of course they're like, whoa, I just didn't know. I'm like, yeah, you didn't fucking know because a lot of disabilities are invisible. You didn't know. You didn't know about me. So you think maybe before you comment anything on anyone's shit, maybe you should, think twice if you don't know what exactly they're going through. And of course, that person got torn up in the comments because those that do follow me know that I have PTSD. I talk about it in my content when I feel like it because it is very exhausting. It can be very re-triggering, and I have to take very long breaks in between that kind of content, even though I want to educate people. I want to make people feel like they're less alone, especially being a Black girl. And a lot of Black women deal with depression and mental health issues. Just a lot of Black youth, just a lot of Black people deal with this stuff. And our community is shitty at acknowledging it and shitty at acknowledging that a lot of us need therapy and need to take care of our mental health. Some of us need to get on medication. I want to talk about that, but even I have to take breaks to talk about that. I did not want to wake up on a day where I would have to prove to people on the internet that I am disabled. And I'm not the only one. A whole bunch of people did. A whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of creators of all sizes, big, little, medium, were basically forced yesterday to not have a normal day if they wanted to be on TikTok. Basically, they were forced to either come out and say what their disability was so that they could have the clearance to post, basically, or else they would get murdered by people on the internet, or just stay off. And a lot of people just stayed off and silenced themselves, which most people would be like, okay, so what, you stayed off the app for one day, boo-hoo. But the point of the blackout was to give spotlight to these people. Obviously, that's not what it accomplished overall, because a whole bunch of people stayed off of there. A whole bunch of people were silenced because they were scared of these goddamn terrorists, these goddamn comment section terrorists, coming and literally requiring people to prove that they're disabled. To prove it. And that's not fair. I'm shaking because I'm so fucking mad. Like, not to mention, like, you know, most disabled people, we're just trying to lead normal lives with these disabilities and make it so hard to live normally. And there's normal things that we can't do anymore. Like, I can't drive more than 30 minutes because of my anxiety, because my body will literally shut down from exhaustion, from anxiety. I can't even do that anymore. Like, what do you want? Do you want footage of me almost crashing my car? Footage of me almost crashing my car many times when I was on active duty because I could barely make it home from base to work and it was like a 25-minute drive. Do you want footage of me in the emergency room for a panic attack? What exactly do you want? What is it that I owe the community to prove that I'm fucking disabled? And the same goes for all of these fucking days. Black, indigenous, disabled. It requires people to come out and be performative about things that are inherently just part of them, part of their identity, or just parts of them that they don't even want to acknowledge on that day or ever. Like, maybe a lot of people aren't ready to talk about the fact that they're depressed. Maybe they aren't. And yes, they can stay off that day on TikTok, but if the intention is to amplify the voices of those that are disabled, then you've missed the entire fucking point. And you've hurt those people. You hurt them. Not to mention, a lot of people don't fucking know about these observation days because they come out of the blue, which makes me wonder, who even comes up with these? Was it a member of the disabled community that was like, hey, we need this? Or was it just somebody with a savior complex that wanted to feel good about themselves and feel like they were doing something? Like, what exactly is the motive here? I think that these days are taking it too far. I think it's because of the nature of people these days with cancel culture, and everyone is scared of being canceled for absolutely fucking everything. And so we literally have no choice but to reveal these things or to validate these things so that we're not punished, so that we're not reamed, so that we're not burned. So, they're hurtful. They're hurtful, and they just become absolutely stupid. I guess I had to do the same thing with Indigenous Peoples Day. I had to say, yes, this is my tribe. I'm a member of the Mosquito tribe. I don't really talk about it too much because it is an endangered tribe. It's very, very small. Not many people know it. A lot of people don't even believe it exists, so I don't really talk about it that much. But yes, it is very much a part of how I grew up. It's very much a part of my culture. I had to validate that. I didn't have to validate myself on the Black Day. Probably because I'm visibly black. Or visibly part black, or whatever the fuck. But I'm sure there is people that were white passing, or light-skinned, or even more ambiguous than me, and I know that I can be ambiguous, that were just bullied for existing on that day. And that's not okay. And especially yesterday, was not fucking okay. So if we're going to keep on doing these little days, maybe we need to think about the actual impact that it's having on the community that you're trying to help. Or are you actually trying to help us? Are you? These days, you really have to ask the question, are you trying to be a force for good, for fucking real? Or are you just trying to feel better about yourself? Are you trying to be a force for good? Or are you trying to feel better about yourself at the expense of somebody else? Whether they're doing something wrong or not, you just want to jump on somebody to feel like you're making a positive difference in the world when you're really just not. You're really just hiding behind your fucking phone, typing away, feeling like you're some sort of social justice warrior, saying dumb shit that would get you jumped in the street. What is the real motive behind this? Are you really trying to be a change, a positive change for good? Or do you just want to be TikTok police? You just want to be social media police? It's infuriating and it's disgusting. And yes, those people eventually, they get torn up in the comment section. But at the end of the day, yesterday, like me, there were a lot of disabled people that were forced to talk about their disability in order to exist in that space. Gatekept by other people that are probably not disabled. Again, do you want to be a positive force for good, or do you want to feel better about yourself? Do you want to change the world, or do you just want to be angry? Think about that.